Boys, the curse is finally over. We're free of the Punch Ons main event curse, and I reckon this means the beginning of a legendary Hall of Fame predictions run. As soon as I upload this video, I'm going straight to put Steve Garcia on the YouTube channel banner. This guy, he gets it done, gets our first main event pick, and I was psyched for it. The picks were on point this week as well, boys. I almost didn't do a video for this card, but I'm so glad I did because my picks went hard. 11 right, 2 wrong, lock of the week cashed, got the first main event, and the rained down like I said it would. The heavyweight division is completely cooked again, and we had an insane moment of irony in the co-main event. Tonight's card had everything. It had Waldo Cortes-Acosta getting his eye gouged like a melon, waves off the doctor, and 5 seconds later he flatlines Onte DeLija. Absolute alpha move from Waldo. Steve Garcia turns David Onama into a heavy bag. Clean, mean, first round demolition job. And don't get me started on Norma Dumont sneaking a decision in what looked like a straight up optical illusion from the judges. So this is going to be your Garcia versus Onama full card recap. I'll hit every fight, where I nailed it, where I whiffed, and why heavyweight MMA keeps proving my theory right every weekend. Let's punch on. So the main event was Steve Garcia versus David Onama. I picked Steve Garcia by KO. Thought he might have got it done in round 3, but it did not take him very long at all. I've got to say, what the fuck was David Onama doing in there? It looked like he just did not even show up, didn't even want to be there. I don't think he even threw very many punches at all, and he just got backed up and hunted down by Steve Garcia. Garcia got straight to work in round 1. He had that nice bladed, steady base style. Just starts tagging Onama early, got his range, lands a big overhand left that stuns Onama, some uppercuts to the body. He was getting in and out nicely. I was loving the jab, 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 straight left combo from Steve Garcia. It was there all day, and I thought that was the shot he was going to land to get the KO. I was calling it. Just love how he just kept going back to the body. He had great head movement. He was bouncing around nicely, and Onama just looked the complete opposite. He just looked stunned and still and not ready for what was coming from Steve Garcia. Next minute, huge left from Garcia, drops Onama bad. He sort of bounces back up, but Garcia chases him down. The mean machine was just rolling downhill, feeding David Onama. Once Onama got back up, Garcia just teeped him to the body, lands a couple more big shots, sits him down, he's face down, ass up, and he pounds him out easily in round 1 without any adversity. Dave Onama, I don't think he showed up to that fight, and Steve Garcia, easy work for him. He is a problem in this division. This fight was over pretty quickly, and I think I predicted it pretty well. I thought that would be the way that the fight would go, but I thought maybe we'd see a bit more opposition from David Onama. But Garcia's pressure and technique were just way too much for David Onama's sloppy, low-energy, fluky style of fighting. I went fucking crazy after this fight. Got me first main event pick on the channel. The curse is finally broken. Yeah, it felt pretty good, this one. Steve Garcia, he's a chill guy in the mic. He wants the Rocky Balboa story. He called out Max Holloway for the BMF. I think he's reaching a bit there. I don't think that one's happening, but it was a good performance, and he's going the right way to get something like that down the track. He also called out the gun crime problem in America because he had a friend recently that died. So good on him. He's got a good fighting style. He's good on the mic. Easy going, chill dude. Yeah, I think the UFC's got something here in Steve Garcia. He'll probably be in another main event next time. I'm glad he got the win. He's going on the channel banner. Fucking oath. Let's keep moving. The co-main, Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Onte DeLija. I picked Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I don't think a lot of people were picking him, but I picked Waldo last time against Sergey. He didn't get it done, but I had to give my respect. If I'm picking him against Sergey Pavlovich, I've got to pick him against Onte DeLija. And man, am I glad that I did. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is the real Tom Aspinall, and he just proved it. Heavyweight continues to be biblically cooked and all over the shop because what did we just see from Waldo Cortes-Acosta? There was a bit of just patient back and forth at the start of the fight. Onte DeLija was planted flat on the floor early. He wasn't moving much. He was pressuring Waldo though. A little bit of clinch work, a bit of wrestling. Waldo shot for a takedown at one point, and then all of a sudden there's a big flurry from DeLija, similar to the one that he got Tybura out of there with. And then Waldo just covers up and puts his hand up, and I knew straight away. I said, oh shit, there's an eye poke in there. And I saw it straight away, but the ref just let it keep going, and he let Delija just keep punching away, and Waldo would have taken a good 10 or 15 solid, partially blocked shots up against the cage, but it was called off as a TKO. Now, the ref didn't actually wave it off, but he did stop the fight, and Delija went crazy like he won, but the snuck its way in, and they showed on the replay there was a clear eye poke, bad, and at that point it was, no contest time. I was just getting ready for a massive rant and a laugh about the heavyweight division and the eye pokes and the but Waldo Cortes-Acosta, the real heavyweight champ, the real Tom Aspinall, sucks it up, says he's good, cops the eye poke. They realise what happened and he goes, nah, I'm good, I want to fight. He said, I can see about 20 or 30% out of my eye, and that was enough for him. Even though his eye looked completely cactus and it looked pretty bad, it looked worse than Tom Aspinall's one, this fucking Chad, this man, gets back in there, and 5 seconds after the fight starts back up again, and we're all thinking that this is going to end really badly for Waldo. Boom! He puts a huge one on his chin and sits Ante Delija down on his ass, swarms him, fucks him up, gets the TKO finish. Insane stuff from Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Delija was out cold. He could barely sit his ass back on the stool, and Waldo takes one to land one and sleeps Delija bad. He just made Tom Aspinall look like the biggest bitch in the world. What a shit week Tom Aspinall has had. I'm pretty sure Ante Delija is one of his main training partners too, so it could not have possibly gone any worse for the career and for the hype of Tom Aspinall. Oh, bro, heavyweight is such a roller coaster. Hey, crazy stuff. I cannot believe that result. So ironic. What the fuck? Ever since I've started this channel, mate, the doom has arrived and it's been destroying the UFC, especially heavyweight. And this fight was no exception. Tom Aspinall, yeah, he's the biggest loser in this fight, even though he wasn't even in the fight. Terrible result for Tom Aspinall. His teammate Ante Delija loses and he gets made to look like a pussy in the same night. 1 week removed from Tom Aspinall's heavyweight disaster main event at UFC 321. I can't fucking see, mate. Yeah, well, Waldo Cortes-Acosta can fucking see, and he just slept your boy, and he's coming for you. Insane stuff. I like Waldo. He had a decent interview. Can't really speak English. He's just yapping random words you pick up here and there. I heard him say you could only see 20%, but I don't give a fuck. Love it. Salsa Boy gets it done. Couldn't really understand who he called out. Think it might have been the champ. He's back up there in the mix. Can he be the man to save the heavyweight division? Maybe. I'm aboard the Waldo train. A huge bull run has just started on the stocks of Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Good stuff, Waldo. Jeremiah Wells versus Themba Gorimbo. It was a decent scrap. Very high pace. Pretty even to start with. I think it was 1-1 after the first 2 rounds. Third round, Jeremiah Wells just ends up being the more active, more physical guy with more gas left in the tank, and he's able to get on top of Themba Gorimbo for the last couple of minutes while Gorimbo just looked gas on the ground. Look, he tried to buck his way out of there, but Wells, too thick, too heavy, too solid, and he's able to use his size and physicality advantage to sit on top of Themba Gorimbo for the last 2 or 3 minutes of round 3. Every now and again, he'd attack a submission or he'd land a few shots, get some elbows on, and Jeremiah Wells wins rounds 2 and 3, takes over the fight as it goes on, and gets a 29-28 unanimous decision win. I also scored at 29-28 for Jeremiah Wells. He was the stronger, thicker guy. Themba was a little bit too frail. Wells had the better cardio and pace, which is crazy. I did not see that happening. So 29-28 unanimous decision for Jeremiah Wells. He called out Michael Chiesa. Cool. Book it. Just put it on the early prelims, please, so I can sleep through it. Moving on. Yadier Del Valle versus Isaac Dalgarian. Whew. I picked Yadier Del Valle by finish. Got him as an underdog. Bro, something shady happened here. The odds flipped like crazy on this fight. A lot of money came in on Del Valle at the end. I even went to go look at the odds right before the fight, and it was coming down quickly on Del Valle's end. Something sus has happened here. James Krause has got his grubby fingers all over this one, and I think apparently Isaac Dalgarian trained with James Krause, so there might be an investigation in this one, but I still think Yadier Del Valle was a good pick here. He looked sick in his last fight, and Dalgarian I thought was a little bit overrated. I was on his hype training of his first couple of fights, but as he stepped up in competition, he didn't look as good. So Dalgarian, He shot early, fully locked his hands together, but Del Valle showed great takedown defense and stayed up. Dalgarian kept trying, but the sprawl was unreal from Yadir. He ended up getting pressure on the neck, looking for a guillotine. Dalgarian defends pretty well. Del Valle takes the back and got his legs hooked in with a body triangle, attacks the neck, and just kept flowing from position to position, flattened him out, mixing in the ground and pound and the elbows nicely. Just dominates Isaac Dalgarian, lands big shots, gets under the chin. Dalgarian survived the choke for some time, and he did a really good job of that. He fought the hands and popped his neck out, but I could see he was really getting uncomfortable. He was running out of breath. He was going blue, and somehow didn't tap for ages. I thought he was going to go to sleep, but once his face went blue and he started frothing out of the mouth, he finally realised he was about to go to sleep, and he taps to a round 1 rear naked choke for Yadir Del Valle. This guy's a problem, dude. I'm on board the Yadir Del Valle hype train as well. Big underdog pick. He was over $3 when I picked him as well. Those odds makers, I don't know, they mustn't have watched his last fight, or something sus has happened with the odds, because this guy's sick and I knew he was going to win this one. I should have locked him. Another submission on the card. I called a lot of TKOs on this card, but turns out there was not many. It was only two, the last 2 fights, but the rest were all submissions. So it was a solid card. Another good pick here. Yadir Del Valle, I'll be watching him as well. Charles Radke versus Daniel Frunze. I had Charles Radke locked in here. I thought he'd get a highlight reel TKO finish. He dominated the fight, probably a 10-9 or maybe a 10-8 in all the rounds. Definitely won all 3 rounds. It was 30-27, maybe 30-26. That's where it was heading anyway, but Radke gets a late rounds rear naked choke. He had a rear naked choke locked up in round 1, but Frunze defended it somehow. I was very surprised that he was able to survive the first one. But Frunze had nothing for him. He really, every time he looked like he was getting going on the feet, which is where he looked like he had his best chance, Radke would just play it smart, duck under a punch, get the takedown, and his grappling was leagues above Daniel Frunze's. So he just decided to take the path of least resistance. Not the most entertaining effort from Radke, but he was very busy in his guard. He was looking for takedowns. He was landing big shots. He dominated Daniel Frunze. Can't take anything away from Charles Radke, and he does actually get the submission at the end there. Round 3, late round submission. Fuck my whole multi. I had him by TKO or points, and he was almost there by points, but all good. Good performance from Chuck Buffalo. Never looked in trouble at all. The lock is good, and thick Justin Gaethje gets it done. No idea what's going on with Daniel Frunze's nipples. He's got 2 completely different nipples. One's huge, the other one's normal. So I don't know if there's a bit of gyno at play there, but yeah, good work for Chuck Buffalo. He gets it done, and we got that pick as well. Alan Nascimento versus Cody Durden. I picked a round 3 submission for Nascimento. He gets the round 2 submission, but yeah, pretty good call from me as well. Sort of went how I thought the fight was going to go. I thought that maybe Durden would be better on the feet and have a little bit more veteran savvy. I said he'd put up a good fight, and he did. I thought he was winning the fight up to the point where he got caught with that nasty elbow. Just a tight little elbow that he walks straight into. Can't do much about that. Drops him bad, busts him up, splits him. Didn't KO him, but just completely threw his equilibrium off and rocked him bad. And then that allowed Nascimento, who had the clear grappling advantage, I thought, to latch up the guillotine choke. I wasn't exactly sure what to call it at first. I thought it was an anaconda or a DAS or something, but the website's calling it a guillotine, so yeah, we'll call it that. Good work, Alan Nascimento. He called out Steve Erceg. I don't mind that fight. Yeah, Durden, he's on his way out. I think that's a 5-fight loss streak for him, but he's looked in every fight he's been in, so maybe don't cut him, but yeah, tough stuff for Cody Durden. Stepped up on late notice, got busted up bad, and got subbed. Billy Elikana versus Kevin Christian. I noted that Christian had extremely red eyes in his media interview before the fight. I was wondering, is he been smoking that sticky icky? But he made it to the fight. Brendan Fitzgerald was purposely just focusing on how tall Kevin Christian was. He was going, oh, he's 6'7". So maybe he's got bloody 12-year-old kids, Fitzy. But this Christian guy is a complete beanpole. Huge, lanky, looked like a heavyweight Anshul Jubilee, even though I think it was a light heavyweight. But yeah, weird build, this guy, weird looking guy. Elikana, he just came in looking locked in. They were trading leg kicks early. Both guys were just using the Cyril Gahn defence, poking their fingers out, threatening the eye poke, really obviously. Tognoni eventually does stop the fight and give them both a warning, but they just got straight back into it, just holding their fingers out. I thought maybe Elikana was going to shoot, but he didn't need to. He ended up just being patient, biding his time, then landing a nasty counter right hook that dropped Christian bad, sat him down, He followed up, jumped on the back, flattened him out, and got the rear naked choke. Kevin Christian taps about 20 times while the ref's just sitting there watching the other side. He was looking underneath to see if the choke was in, and he was tapping on the other side 20 times, but Tognoni couldn't see from the angle that he created for himself. So not too sure what Tognoni was looking for there, but eventually Elicana holds the choke long enough that he actually goes to sleep. Tognoni realises that he's asleep, wiggles his arm, and he lets him go, and it's over. Nasty stuff from Billy Elicana. I said this would be his best performance, and it clearly was, so another good pick from me. Nice job on the mic from Billy Elicana. Seems like a good, humble guy. DC asked him if he knew anything about the tap, and he goes, I don't know, man, not my problem. I got to fight until the ref pulls me off. It was super necessary. So good little reference there from Elicana. Good shit, he gets the dub. Timmy Kwamba versus Chang Ho Lee. Pretty solid performance from both guys. Chang Ho Lee won round one clearly, got the backpack and just stayed there for the whole round. Was 1-1 going into the third round. Kwamba started taking over the fight as it went on a bit. And then round 3, Chang Ho Lee shoots in. They get tangled up against the cage with Lee looking for an armbar. Kwamba defends, flips him over, gets on top to the back, out grapples him, secures the back position, and just stays there for the rest of the fight. Bit of a boring end to a pretty entertaining fight. 29-28 was how I scored it to Timmy Kwamba. The judges agreed, and Kwamba gets the win by decision. So another Korean prospect who just can't beat the shit cans outside the rankings. Dante Johnson versus Cedric's mass. I picked Jonte Dodson by round 2 TKO. He gets the round 2 submission, and I reckon a lot of multis would have got killed by that one. Everyone in the world had Dante Johnson by TKO, and he gets the round 2 sub. What a weird fight this one was. Very, very strange performance from Cedric's Dumas. Was throwing weird shit like multiple spinning back elbows in a row, one after the other. Threw a couple of rolling thunder forward roll kicks from bottom, 2 in a row. I've never seen that before. That was interesting striking from Dumas. But yeah, eventually Dante just gets his neck, snaps up a Das or a gilly or something as well. Dumas doesn't fight their hands at all, just taps before the chokes are even in, and a fucking submission for Dante Johnson after I said TKO. Jonte Dodson, the imposter, survives another fight. Dumas is absolutely doomed. Bro better start working on that next SoundCloud mixtape. He might have to go get another couple of tats because he is cooked. Good stuff from Dante Johnson. 7 wins in a row. That's the first time he's ever gone to a round 2, and he looked pretty good. So I'll be watching his next fight. Ketlin Vieira versus Norma Dumont. This was an interesting one. I want you guys just to pop down in the comments what you thought about this fight. Really think the judges lately have changed their decision-making because, I mean, I think they just pick and choose whoever they want to win because clearly the UFC is wanting Norma Dumont to win this fight. And it seems like now this new idea of judging based off damage has just made it way more easy for the UFC to get what they want because round 1, it was just an even striking affair that maybe Dumont was looking a little bit cleaner in, but Vieira gets a takedown with like a minute 30 to go and just secures the round, like threatened an arm triangle, and that was a clear 10-9 Vieira. There's no way that the minimal, ineffective striking that Dumont got done in round 1 was enough to offset the control time and the arm triangle threat from Vieira. So it had to be a 10-9 to Vieira. Now, round 2 was more close, I will say that. Norma looked better on the feet by a small margin, I think, but not really, obviously. Vieira gets another takedown, shoots with a minute 30 to go and gets it down to what, in my opinion, secure the round. I wrote that was another Vieira round and that it was 2-0 to Vieira after 2 rounds. But there was nowhere near as much damage and there was no submission threats in round 2. So it really has to come down to the striking on the feet. But I think the way the scorecards work is if the striking is even enough, you look at the next criteria. And I think one of the next criteria is effective takedowns and grappling and cage control. So surely that was close enough in the first couple of minutes that Vieira's takedown gets that round secured for her. So I don't know. I'm going to have to go and rewatch that first couple of minutes. But yeah, interesting. I was pretty confident that it was 2-0. But I had this feeling like I had in the Almeida versus Volkov fight where, don't know, like that one could have gone either way. And even round 1, I was thinking, oh, fuck, they probably could have given that to Dumont too. But anyway, round 3, Vieira tries to wrestle early again, but Dumont defends. They hung up against the cage for a couple of minutes with not a lot happening. Dumont disengaged and pushed Vieira up against the fence with some teeps and some leg kicks and just outboxed Vieira easily for the last couple of minutes to win the round. But didn't show any urgency or to try and get a finish, which I thought was going to cost her. I scored the fight 29-28 to Ketlin Vieira, but the judges give it 29-28 to Norma Dumont. I think it was a split decision. Now, not many people watched my predictions video, but for those who did I not pick this fight to a T? I said Norma Dumont by 29-28, split decision based on optics, like the way a Mackenzie Dern would win a fight. I am him. Is that not the perfect prediction? And I even said maybe there's an argument for Ketlin Vieira to win, but Dumont gets it based off the UFC wanting her to win. So, I mean, maybe not the most insane pick in the world because this shit happens all the time in the UFC, but I thought I did a pretty good job of predicting that one. And Dumont gets to win. It's the best result for the UFC, but yeah, bad luck Ketlin Vieira. I thought she did enough to win that fight. Not the most impressive look for Norma Dumont going into what she hopes is a title fight next, but she's on a big win streak and you never know. So good job, Norma. She gets it done by decision. Alice Ardell-Yan versus Montserrat Ruiz. Nothing to see here. I ended up changing my pick last minute to Alice Ardell-Yan. She pieced her up, just outboxed her easily, did visible damage to her face and won all 3 rounds clearly. 30-27 for Alice Ardell-Yan. Cut Montserrat Ruiz. She's got nothing. Yeah, dead fight. Phil Rowe versus Seok Hyun Ko. I picked Ko by KO. It's just in his name. I thought it was pretty easily going to happen. We get a dominant performance from Seok Hyun Ko, but no finish. He just walked straight into the eye of the storm, and Ko was ready for it. He played it smart, took Rowe down early, exerted heavy top pressure and just stayed busy and tight for the entire fight. Smothering performance. Phil Rowe had absolutely nothing in defence. He did have a moment on top in the final round where he kind of got on top and full mount against the cage, but he did nothing with it. Seok Hyun Ko wins all 3 rounds, looked clinical. Thought that was a pretty easy pick, that one. I said that Phil Rowe is an expert at losing, and he looked elite at the sport of losing out there. Seok Hyun Ko gets it done by decision. The picks were off to a pretty good start. The first fight on the card was Talita Alencar versus Ariane Carnelossi. I actually was going to pick Ariane Carnelossi, but I ended up flipping the coin on this one, and it turned up Talita Alencar. So the coin is back to 50-50, perfectly balanced. Look, Talita Alencar just won the whole fight, start to finish, won the majority of every exchange. Carnelossi looked big and strong, but had very little technique and pretty poor fight IQ and desperation, to be honest. Talita Alencar was on top, landing elbows for a good chunk of this fight, and she ends up finishing her by a gift rear naked choke in the last 30 seconds of the fight. Good performance, nothing special in terms of the opponent. So overall, a pretty epic weekend of predictions, 11-2 with our locked in this week as well. Probably could have had another lock this week. Probably would have put it on Yadir Del Valle, but we're a bit unlucky with our locks the last couple of weeks, so good to have another 100% lock like it should be. Those picks are confident, and yeah, I need to see a few of those getting up. Righto, boys, time to get into these Punch Ons bonuses. We handed out 4 performance bonuses this week. Couldn't really pick a fight of the night. There was a couple of all right ones, but nothing too special jumped out at me, so we're going to go with 4 performance bonuses. The first one's going to Jonte Dodson, gets a submission win by guillotine choke. Yeah, he's against Cedricus Dumas, but he looked good. He was dominant. Dumas was doing some weird shit, and Dante just stayed calm. Showed a couple of extra feathers in his cap, so yeah, Dante Johnson, he'll be a mainstay in the UFC. I'm keen to see where he goes. A big performance bonus is also going to Billy Elikana. We're going to give him $67,000 after taking down the big beanpole, Kevin Christian, and basically getting a TKO and a submission in the one fight. That was a nasty finish from Elikana. He's recovered well from his first shitty performance against Bogdan Guskov, so we're going to get him a performance bonus too. Massive performance bonus goes to Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Give this guy a title fight, man. Fuck Tom Aspinall off. Let's just put Waldo in to fight Cyril Gane in a couple of weeks. He's active. He goes hard. He says yes. He takes fights. And now we know that he's tough as fucking old boot leather because he gets poked in the eye worse than Tom Aspinall. Takes 2 minutes. Gets back out there and then sleeps Daliha bad. Can't not reward that shit. I hope Dana gives him a big bonus and a big fight next. And then the final performance bonus has got to go to the mean machine, Steve Garcia. Just a Terminator performance against David Onama. Onama didn't really put up much opposition, but can't help that. Garcia fought the guy that was in front of him, pieced him up, put him down, finished the job, did it easy. So good shit, Steve Garcia. The most cooked performance, boys, going to none other than Cedricus, the Lord of Doom. Mass. This guy's a complete schizo. Fights like he's been on the glass Barbie all weekend. Rolling thunders from the ground. Tripling up on spinning back fists. And still gets sat down and choked out. So Dumas tapped before the submission was even touching his neck. Crazy cook performance from him, but I'd expect nothing less. That's it for the recap, boys. UFC Fight Night, Garcia versus Onama. It's in the rearview mirror now, where it belongs. That's fucking 6 hours of my life I'm never getting back, but nah, decent card. Picks were good. The Mean Machine with a nasty, no-nonsense KO. Waldo turned a hospital visit into a highlight reel. Norma Dumont gets one of those scorecards that starts arguments across the internet, and the big boy division remains a completely cursed, cooked carnival. Drop your biggest takeaway from this card in the comments. Do you think Waldo was the moment of the night, or did Steve Garcia steal the show at the end? Who did you score the fight for between Ketlin Vieira and Norma Dumont? Hit like if you cooked along with these picks. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Stay violent, stay cooked, punch on.